Okay, good day everyone. This is JB Morales. In the previous video, we reviewed divisibility and modular arithmetic, which are useful concepts when we go through coding theory. In this video, we discuss coding theory, which is the mathematics behind sending messages. When we send message, our intended message goes through channels which are not perfect. Because the channels are not perfect, the tendency is our intended messages get distorted, modified, or altered. So we wonder, how does the receiver still able to get the correct message? We discuss the theory in this video. For coding theory, some of the words associated are information, calculation, data, communication, mathematics, and research. For the basic problem in coding theory, we know that each time intended message is sent through a channel, and the channel is not perfect, the message may contain, or the received message may contain errors. So it could be erased, modified, altered, or changed. Now if this happens, how do we detect errors, if any, and how do we correct these errors? We know that computers and machines can detect and correct errors. What about the human mind? Are we capable of detecting errors and correcting these errors? Let's have an experiment. Suppose I sent a message through a channel, it got distorted, and it went like this. Can you read the word that is highlighted here? Please type the word that is highlighted if you are able to understand. Next, suppose I sent an email. It went through channels, it got distorted and modified, and it went like this. Can you understand these two words? Please type the two words, the corrected two words in the comment section below. Okay, lastly, suppose I uploaded a file on Canvas and it went like this. Can you understand this word? If so, please type the word associated to this in the comment section below. Now, if you are able to correctly understand the words in all the three instances, that is because your brain is a code cracking machine. So for the message we receive, we usually make sense out of it. We consider all possibilities, or not all, but we consider most possibilities. We look for patterns, and we make sense out of what we got. So, sometimes, even if the symbol does not have an underlying message, we even make sense out of it. Now, to illustrate the basic problem in coding theory in terms of diagram, let's take a look at this figure. So you have a message source. This is the person wanting to send a message. Okay, his intended message will be converted into something that the computer can understand. So usually in terms of ones and zeros. So the source encoder will convert the intended message in terms of strings of ones and zeros. After that, the strings of ones and zeros will go through channels which are not perfect, or what we call noisy channels. In the noisy channels, the strings of ones and zeros get distorted or changed. Now after the channel, it will go through source decoder, which converts the strings of zeros and ones into something that the person can understand. An example could be English words. Now we want to equip the receiver of um, error detection and error correction capabilities so that the receiver gets the exact message. So to illustrate in terms of this figure, we have the sender. Now the sender relays the message to the channel. Now because the channel is not perfect or has limitations, the channel may give an incorrect message to the receiver. Now we want to equip the receiver so that the receiver is able to detect or correct errors, if any, instead of asking the sender again to send the message. So the basic goals of coding theory, as we have illustrated before, are simply error detection and error correction. So to give an example, suppose the intended message is "Hi Rob," gets converted into strings of ones and zeros. It goes through channels, and this one is the received strings of zeros and ones, and then gets converted into something that human can understand. But notice that there is some changes. Okay, so we want to equip the receiver so that he or she is able to detect or correct errors. Another example is, suppose that these are the set of valid messages. These are the corresponding strings of zeros and ones. Now suppose that the intended message is yes, gets converted into strings of zeros and ones. It goes through imperfect channels. It was received like this, but notice that 10 is not among the valid messages. So if this happens, there is a what we call communication failure. Now, why do you think communication failure happens? One of the possible reasons why communication failure happens is because there is an imperfect transmission of data. Okay, possible reasons of imperfect transmissions of data could be because of electric surge. It could also be cross-contamination from another data stream. Weather could also be a factor. And sometimes human error can easily change some zeros and ones, or and vice versa. So in this particular example, notice that the writer mistakenly typed the word drugs instead of the word drums.